once I was able to, and it's still a struggle, Reggie, man. It's still a struggle because as I said earlier, I just want to be a daddy, bro. And it hurts me, but once I was able to really, really drop that shame and embarrassment, man, I'm able to do what I'm doing now because it's another man that is probably gonna hear this that went through the exact same thing I went through and is going through the exact same thing. And above all else, that's the biggest hurdle is the shame and embarrassment. If I'm being honest.
Welcome to Vulnerability Muscle, the empowering podcast challenging norms and guiding you to find strength and power through vulnerability. I'm your host, Reggie D. Ford. In a world that often portrays vulnerability as a sign of weakness, I believe it is a source of tremendous strength and authenticity. Through insightful conversations and thought provoking interviews, Vulnerability Muscle aims to redefine vulnerability and help listeners develop a new perspective on their own lives. Each episode of Vulnerability Muscle delves into a variety of topics such as mental health, social issues, and mindset shifts. We explore the power of vulnerability in healing, building resilience, and promoting personal growth, as well as fostering meaningful connections. This podcast provides practical tools and strategies to navigate life's challenges, overcome adversity, and create more inclusive and just environments for all people. Oh man, my brothers from Black Men Vent 2. How y'all doing?
Man, we
Good,
good. We
good,
good, man.
good.
Good, bro.
Glad to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to have y'all here. Can y'all do me a quick favor and introduce yourselves to the audience and just who y'all are? Who is Black Men Vent 2? Yeah, just let us know.
Yeah, yeah, man. I go first, man. Johnathan Davis, born and raised Nashville, Tennessee, man. Did all my schooling and whatnot here in the city. As far as Black Men Vent 2, man, we are a small piece of leather, but we well put together. That's something that my pastor
Mm.
has said before. But Black Men Vent 2, man, we are recognized as a nonprofit. We're a nonprofit organization here in Nashville, Tennessee. To my record, the only father and son led, black owned, led nonprofit. What we focus on with our nonprofit is using different resources and opportunities to bridge the gap between black men and mental health. And one of those resources that we use is a podcast. And we have a podcast, man. We've been running for about 2 years, going on 3, going into the new year. 135 plus episodes,
Oof.
135 weeks straight. That means
Wow.
through the good, the bad, the in between, man, we have found ways to continue to be consistent behind content and bringing different black men on the platform to make uncomfortable conversations comfortable. That's our
Mm.
biggest goal with our platform. Have been blessed, man. 6 or 7 magazines. We've been heard one time in 43 countries. We had the infamous Judge Joe Brown join the show in
Yeah.
2022. So that was an interesting episode. But we've
Yeah.
been blessed, man. We have come a long way and we got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Pops, you want to introduce
Yeah,
yourself?
man. My name is Leon Davis Jr. Of course, this is my son, and I'm the father. You can probably tell that by the gray head. But if you keep living, man, you're going to get some of this. So just enjoy
Yeah.
it when you get it. You see, I don't try to hide mine, brother. I don't do no dyes. I'm all natural,
I
man. You know what I'm
appreciate that.
saying?
I like
It's
that.
just the way I roll, man. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like my son, he gave you the lowdown, man. Black Men Vent 2, man, was a vision that was given to us by God that was speared from group of men that I used to have come to my house. I used to have young men come to my house, and we would just sit down and talk about life's issues, man. But
Mm.
then COVID hit, and we weren't able to do it as much as we would like. Matter of fact, we weren't able to do it at all. And then the idea just came to us again that we wanted to start that back. And at the end of the day, man, by with my son Joshua, Johnathan, and my wife, we was in the driveway one day just kicking around ideas how to get this thing back going. And I kid you not, it all started in our driveway. The Black Men
Wow.
Into vision, the how we was going to approach it, man. All of that started in the driveway, man. And we
Wow.
all contributed to it. And then you know how black people do. We sat on it for about 2 or 3 months, and
Yeah.
then we went. And then we was at a baseball game, and man, it just hit me, man. I told her, I said, man, let's go for it. And man, the rest is history. We sit here now on your podcast
That's
talking about
beautiful.
how we've been blessed, man. But we had so many interesting guests on our show, man. And we've had so many brothers, man, to come on our show, man, and just give their mental health stories and just tell how they were able to navigate through all the mental health challenges that they were dealing with and still be a man in society and try to be a positive male, positive role model, trying to do all these positive things, but still dealing with some stuff that's not right in the brain, man, but they still was able to persevere. So we got, hey man, he said it, 135 weeks straight, man. If you want to listen to some brothers give
Oh
some
yeah.
some powerful stories, man, and
Oh,
yours
yeah.
was a powerful story also,
Oh,
I
man.
yeah.
So yeah,
appreciate that.
you want to hear some brothers give some powerful stories, check us out, man. Check out Black
Yes,
Men Vent 2 on all the platforms, man. We've been blessed. And man, we're going to
absolutely.
continue to grow according to how God wills it.
I love that, and I attest to it as well. Like y'all are putting in the work, y'all are doing it, and y'all representing for black men for Nashville. And one thing I don't know if you know mention this, Jonathan, but the number one podcast in Nashville,
Come on,
voted by the
man.
Yeah.
Nashville
Come on,
scene.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go!
Man,
Hey,
Like
man.
listen.
And we don't take
Man.
that lightly, man. You know what I'm
Man.
saying? A lot of
Yeah.
people, he
Yeah.
talks about it more than I do. But believe me, when I get my opportunity, I talk about it also because
Yeah.
that's an accomplishment, man, that no matter what nobody says,
yes,
they can never take that
it's
away from us.
stamped.
Right.
It's
Never. You know
stamped.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when I got that magazine, I was flipping through different categories, and I saw that, and I saw y'all, and I saw my boy Jerome with D
Mm-hmm.
Dish, and
Yeah,
I was just like,
Jerome.
ah,
Yeah.
man, putting
Yeah.
on for the city. So like
Yeah, man.
that made
Yeah.
me proud. It made me
Yeah,
real
man.
Yeah,
proud. Yeah.
man.
Praise
Wouldn't have,
God.
wouldn't have got here without you or
That's
Jerome,
right.
man, because
That's
we
right.
naturally had both of you guys on the pod. And me and Jerome, we joked about it, man. We was like, hey, whether you be number one or I be number one, let's control the top two spots
Yes.
to the end of time.
Yes.
I was like, let's
Yes.
do
Hey, and to the end. Yeah. Well, I'm
it. Yeah,
sliding
But
in there
see,
too.
look,
Then let's go. Come on, we're gonna be playing it. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
that's
look,
it.
look, look.
That's it.
That what I just get ready to say. I'm like, man, you in the game.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I'm
it.
saying?
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Out of all the 135 plus conversations y'all have had, what has been some of the most jaw dropping stuff you've heard from different guests?
Whew.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
That's a good one.
wow.
That's a good one.
I haven't
Mm.
really even reflected on that
Yeah.
thought, but I off the
Yeah.
top of my head, one interesting episode, I think, okay, I got one for sure. One interesting episode that we did was with our good friend Dr. Benny Washington.
Mm.
Now, Mr. B is a huge name at Tennessee State University in the science department. If you know anything about health science, that man has been all up and through the
Yes.
health science
Yes.
department, teaching,
Yes.
being a professor and whatnot. And I remember his episode, and he got choked up behind talking about his son. He was
Mm.
talking about his son, the successes of his son, how there was he told a story about how him and his son got into it.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah. They
he
got
said
scrapping. Yeah.
he had to put his son in place
Yeah.
during his adolescent years, man. But he just talked about the journey of fatherhood. And Mr.
Yeah.
B
Mm.
is well over 70 plus, man,
Mhm.
but you wouldn't be able to tell it by looking at him. And he just vented, if you will, about the mental struggles, man, of being a father.
Mhm.
But as he was getting into the story and whatnot, man, he just really shed some tears, man, behind
Mm.
what he went through, what he overcame, and what he's overcoming, man. And we've had a lot of episodes like that,
Mhm.
Reggie, to
Mhm.
where these guys, man, we got to get the tissue box out for everybody.
Yeah,
It's
man.
been
Yeah.
an episode where
Mhm.
me, my pops, and the guest been crying. You know what I
Oh,
Yeah.
mean?
you know
So
what? And I
yeah,
got one now that you made
yeah.
me think of it. What's his name? Tony Jenkins' son.
Oh,
His son.
AJ, Anthony.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tony Jenkins'
yeah,
son.
yeah,
Now I'm gonna
yeah.
tell you a little bit about this brother, man.
Mhm,
He's a brother,
mhm,
but he's a transgender.
mhm.
And he talked about that journey, man, and
Yeah,
talked about how much of a struggle that was for a black man
yeah.
having to deal with that trial of trying to figure out gender and dealing with all that stuff, man.
Mhm,
And then
mhm.
from his episode, man, his father heard our episode, man,
Yeah.
Wow.
and his father flew down here
From
from LA,
California.
man, to
Yeah,
be on the show
yeah.
so he could be a part of the podcast
Mm.
and tell us how appreciative he was
Wow.
of us getting the story out of his son. 'Cause he said he didn't even know that about his
Yeah.
son, man. And you talking
Wow.
about a tear jerking episode.
Man, yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
was
yeah.
one of them, man. But
Beautiful.
he
Wow.
talked about
Yeah,
that stuff, man. And from
yeah.
that, look, I'm gonna say how the Lord connect dots. And from that episode from the first one with his son. Now we've created a partnership with his daddy in the financial industry, man.
Let's
So Black
go.
Man Event 2 is going to be doing some different things in 2024, man.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
go. Cause
yeah.
finances play a huge role in that mental health
Oh
for
man, come on
sure.
now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If your money ain't right, your brain ain't right.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, you stressing about money, you are not gonna be. You ain't taking care
Yeah.
of nothing. So
Hello.
yeah, that's I love that. And just to like know y'all have had so many impactful guests. I get, when I get a message or I see a post and I'm like, I'm ready to start crying off of this 30 seconds that I just listened
Yeah.
to. And it's
Yeah.
real stuff. It's real. And I think in a similar fashion to, vulnerability muscle, getting people to share stories that they usually keep to their chest. Y'all
Mhm.
allow that to happen. And that
Right.
was
Yes.
one of the things that gravitated me toward y'all immediately. As soon as I heard about the name, right? Black Men Vent 2. Yes, I want to go meet these brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so like I appreciate y'all for embracing me and allowing me to be on
Yes,
this
sir.
show.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question kind of similar along those lines, but have you been inspired to look at the way you've looked at life, or just how you navigate life by something that somebody, I guess, has said to you? Like, has there been a aha moment that like, dang, I need to straighten up, or I need to look at people differently, or anything like that based off of something that a guest has shared with y'all?
We did so for a while we were doing straight episodes. During our first 20 or 30, we jumped into seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, since we drop episodes weekly, we decided to make the season for the month. So for 4 weeks out of that month, we
Okay.
would do a season. We've done a season on grief. We've done a
Yeah.
season on depression. We've done a season on marriage and relationships. Then we flipped it and did relationships and marriage because everybody not married. So
Yeah.
we did political education.
Yeah,
We've done
I like that political education
yeah,
one. Yeah,
we
that
did
was
a
cool.
fatherhood. But if the aha moment for me personally was the season that we did our co-parenting conspiracy season, man. I kid you not.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Good reviews too.
I
Yeah.
loved it. The numbers for that month went skyrocketed, man, to the point where people were really engaging behind the conversation that is uncomfortable, but co-parenting.
Yes.
Nobody talks about this. Nobody
Yes.
talks about the mental health imbalances that can come in not only the parents but the child. He's with mom for a couple of days, then he's with dad for the summer, then he's with mom for school, then he's with dad for spring break. She's with mom for summer break. She's with dad for that back and forth, man, during the developmental years of a child being born and growing up. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard,
It is.
especially when you are in the unfortunate situation of you and your partner, for lack of better words, are not seeing eye to eye, and you start getting court involved and all this other extra stuff. That was by far my aha moment for me, man. Just my own personal life. I've dealt with it all behind that subject, the good, the bad, and in between. And bottom line, Reggie, I just want to be a father. That's it. That's it. I just want to be a dad. I have been blessed to have this man beside me be my daddy for 28 years. I just want to do what he has done and more. That's all I want to
Wow.
do. And the aha moment for me, man, was knowing that I'm not alone. There's been other men that have went through the trenches just to have time with their son or daughter. And then let me throw in, because I never want to forget our Black queens. We had two women
That's right.
join the season.
Yeah.
Two men, two women. So that way we get both sides. We get both sides, because our whole season, you can listen to all 4 or 5 episodes. We did not bash the Black mother, and the Black mothers did not bash the Black fathers.
That's
We were
good.
not about to release any type of content that was saying, well, my baby daddy ain't this, and well, my baby mama ain't that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's bigger than the bickering. It's bigger than that. And my aha moment was just knowing that on both sides of the spectrum, man, I'm not alone in that endeavor.
Wow. Yes. Yes. Leon, I got a question for you, because one, shout out to you for being the father that makes this man want to be a dad. Like, that is huge. I don't know if there's a better compliment for a father, but
Yeah.
with you experiencing what Johnathan has gone through with trying to be a father for his son, how is that? How have how has that impacted you, knowing the relationship that y'all have and what he strives to want to desire to want with his kid? How have you seen that from your perspective?
Man,
Because
it's
I've seen it
interesting.
from Johnathan.
Yeah, it's interesting you asked that question. I was just telling a brother about that at work today. And granted, man, I cherish both of my children, man. They both know that I love them dearly, man. But this podcast has caused me and Jonathan to have a different type of bond. You know what I'm saying? Me and Jojo think alike. So we just like twins, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But me and
Okay.
him, he like his more of his mother's character, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it has caused us to have a real tight bond as far as father and son. And I appreciate that, and I don't take that for granted because I know a lot of guys don't get this. We
Right.
just had a podcast yesterday, man, with a brother, man,
Yeah.
and that was his vent session.
Yeah.
He talked about how his father was not in his life and how he's had to navigate through life without a father. And he said, basically, my mother was my father. Now, I'm not saying no mother can't do the job because there have been many single parents, single mothers that have done the job. But you could tell that brother was struggling because his daddy was not a part of his life, man. And he was a strong brother. But I saw him get emotional, man, whether he know it or not. I saw it, man. And it was like, I was like, wow, man. And so I don't take this for granted. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
take me and my son's relationship here, and my son is in the other room. I don't take none of these relationships for granted because I realize that I don't have to be here to be a part of this. God is allowing me to do this, so I try to do the best I can at being a good steward of what God has given me. And He's given me two great sons and a great wife, so I try to be the best I can for all of them, man. And at the end of the
Wow.
day, when you talk about episode, what really brought that home for me also is we had a brother on our show, man, that had children, and he was out there in the streets doing his thing, trying to make a way for his kids, a father, trying to make a way for his kids the best way he knew how. He grew up in the streets, so he's trying to make it the street way. Got shot 7 times, man.
Oh yeah,
He got shot 7 times and almost died. But he walked. How much before he say he walked in the snow or something?
Yeah.
And he said what kept him driving, and he kept thinking about his family, man. He was trying to hang
Wow.
on for his family, man.
Yes.
And the brother hung on, and he told the story on the podcast, man. And I was like, wow, you just
Wow.
don't realize what daddies will do. You know what I'm saying? And
Wow.
that brother struggled to stay alive
Yeah.
so he could be there for his family, man.
Yeah.
And it changed him, but he still was struggling with just the fact that he got shot 7 times. You know what I'm saying?
The beautiful thing about his episode was he had 7 kids.
Yeah, the dude got
Oh
7
my
kids.
goodness.
And he got
No,
7 kids.
no.
So, dude, that's the type of stories we get, man.
Yeah, man.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You like them moments you start thinking like I should have just had one. Like let me
Yeah, for real. For real.
Wow.
For
But
real.
that's amazing.
From the same woman
that
too. Let me
wow.
say that.
That's
From
true.
the same woman.
That's true.
Yeah, 7 kids.
But hanging on because he knew he had to be there for them.
Man, he
Like
trying to be there, man.
that's
Trying to be
amazing.
there for him, man. Yep.
Has y'all relationship always been like this?
You know them teenage years. They start how y'all do, man. Yeah, you know how y'all do.
Y'all
When
pause
get
for a
15,
minute, so
yeah.
sometimes.
Like them old people say when y'all start smelling your urine. You know?
Well, no, I would say we have though, Reggie, man.
Yeah.
I for sure once I graduated high school, I want to say that's when we really started to. Started becoming a man. So naturally, I go to the man that has taught me how to be a man, and I think through my experiences of learning that and his experiences of having learned that, we naturally bridged the gap, man. Once I got out of high school, moving forward. But as far as the closeness, I say it's always been there.
That's what's up. Yeah, yeah. I got a question for you, Jonathan. What advice? Because you're a fairly new dad. How old is your son?
He is 1.
1 years old. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
1 year old. And what would your advice be to new fathers out there with whatever they may fear, struggle with going into fatherhood? What would be some of your advice from a new father's perspective?
That is a good question, man. And naturally, I will say this. Shout out to his mom. And what I mean by that is I have not had the ideal fatherhood journey thus far. But what I will say is my son is healthy. My son has clothes. My son has shoes. And I credit his mother that when he's not in my sight, I trust that he's in good care with her, regardless of our indifferences and what we went through. Let me first disclaim and say that.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, my advice, man, to any new father, man, or father to be, is a word that I feel like God has just forced in my brain, dealing with all I've dealt with this year, is patience.
Mm.
As men, I feel like as a culture, black people have a problem with waiting. We don't like to wait in line for roller coasters. We don't like to wait in line during Black Friday to buy that 7 inch you don't need. We don't like waiting in line for. We don't like waiting. And I think the biggest thing I have learned throughout my journey of just trying to be a father is being patient and trusting the process, man.
Mm.
And knowing that, there is, I used to hear it all the time growing up. There's no blueprint to this parenthood stuff.
Yeah.
It's really no blueprint, man. Whatever you surround your child around, whatever type of words you use, whatever type of culture you put them in, that is all they're gonna know, until they have the mindset of being able to essentially chew the meat and spit out the bone, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think that would
I
be
don't know
one of
what
the
that mean, but yeah.
basically, man, if you feed a child, enough information, man, good or bad, they're gonna chew the good and spit out the bad based
I
off of
like
their
it.
own experiences that they
Yes.
went through. And that above all else, man, would be my bit of advice. Is just to
That's
be
dope.
patient. Be
Yeah.
patient with the mother. Whether y'all are together or not, it's still gonna be indifferences that come with that. Her body is changing. Her body has changed. It's went through a whole metamorphical thing, and naturally, all you were there to do was be able to support that and kind of help and aid in that. But just be patient, man.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I can say fatherhood has taught me, is just waiting and understanding that time heals. Time heals, man. As long as you're able to wait and trust the process out, man, you and your child will be all right.
Man, that's beautiful. I love that. Leon, I want to hear the same answer from you, but from a older, a more experienced father's perspective. Like, what advice are you giving to Jonathan and
Man,
other young fathers?
I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna tell you this with everything that's in me, man. Allow the Lord to lead you when you got children, because at the end of the day, children are a blessing from God. So if that be true, then allow the Lord to lead you in that endeavor. Now, are you gonna get it right all the time? No, you gonna fall short, man. And I've even told my children this, that when we was raising them, me and his mom, we did the best we could at the time in which we was raising them. Now, if I want to look back and say hindsight 2020, I should have did this, should have did that. Of course, you can always say that. But as long as you know you're doing your best for your child and you're looking at your child and not yourself, because see, once you become a father and a mother, your life is no longer your life. Your life is surrounded by trying to groom and make them be the best person that they can be. And I looked at the title of your podcast, and I think that's one word that men need to really, really, really embrace: vulnerability.
Yeah.
Mm.
Understand that you're not the strongest dude in the room all the time, and you don't have to be. You just have to be yourself and be the best self you can be. And if you can do that, I guarantee your children are going to pick up on that, and they're going to be the best self that they can be.
Mm. Mm. That's powerful. I just I'm soaking in them words because and I'm kind of getting emotional right now, which I did not expect from that answer. But because like I talked about it probably on y'all's podcast, but I don't have a relationship with my father.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like tough. But to get like just like the wisdom that just came from both of y'all from fathers, and hearing the love that y'all have. And like you said, like your life changes when you have a child.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like I long to hear words like that. Damn. I got a question along similar to those, similar to that, but what are y'all living for? What are individually, collectively, what are you living for right now?
First of all, man, and I know I I can't help this, but I'm living to please God. That's my
Mhm.
life, man. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't always been my focus. Because when I was y'all age, man, I was living for the moment. You know what I'm saying? Living for the minute, man. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But once I became a father, man, again, I realized, man, it ain't all about me. So now my purpose, now that my children are grown, man, that was my purpose at that time, to make sure that they had everything they needed, make sure that I could provide for them a roof over their head and clothes on their back. But not only that, spiritual guidance too, man. Try to provide all of that, man. And now, at the point where I'm at now I'm all about trying to pass it forward. I'm all about trying to give back. So just like a young man like yourself, man, I'm gonna tell you this on the podcast, man. Anytime, bro, you want to call me, man, and chit chat it up, let me know, man. I'm here, man. I'm here, man. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, I'm all about trying to give back. Cause see, again, that's how this podcast got started. We used to bring young men to this house and cater to them young men, feed them. You know, y'all like to eat, so we eat first, and then we go and chit chat it up, man. That's what that's been my focal point now, is to give back to young black males, man, because I want to see us excel past the norm. I want us to excel past the taboo labels that they put on us, man. I want to see us excel to a point, man, where they won't be able to say some of the things that they're saying about young black males right now. I want to be
Yes.
a part of that change.
Yes. 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 I love that.
Yeah. I can honestly say the same thing. Naturally, God is the head of my life, man, and I'm no shame of that. But I can kind of agree and ditto everything Pop said. I am living for and to change the narrative of black
Yeah,
men one
man.
day at a time.
Yeah, man.
Mm.
It's too many labels. It's too many
Yeah,
stereotypes.
man.
We don't all hoop, and we ain't all got a mic. You know, it's just it's little stuff, man, that we use our podcast, use our nonprofit to try to change that narrative. And hopefully, with what we're doing that again, one day at a time.
Yeah,
Mm.
man. And
Mm.
let me say
Mm.
this too, man. That's when my son told me, man, that we was going to be a part of your podcast. The first thing I thought
Mhm.
about it when we brought that hoodie over your house, man. I told my wife,
Yeah.
I said, you remember, dude? She said, who you talking about? I said, you know the guy we took the hoodie over his house. And I remember, man, telling you, man, that you was gonna do some great things, man, because you had wrote the book. You know, you wrote
Yeah.
the book. You gave us a
Mhm.
copy of the book. I said,
Mhm.
man, you're gonna
Mhm.
do some great things. And look at
Mhm.
you now.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Look at
appreciate
you now.
that.
Got
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
podcast going, man. Yeah,
And
you
that and
doing it,
that's one of
man.
my
So
that's one
that's
of my
what we want
favorite hoodies.
yeah, that's what we want to be a part of. When people like yourself are excelling, I feel like we're a part of that, man.
Yeah.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what
for
I'm saying?
sure. For
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean like I texted Johnathan one day when I was in the gym with the hoodie on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was doing pull-ups or something, and some dude behind me came up to me. He's like, yo, and he showed me his phone. He's like, I'm downloading the podcast right now. I'm finna
Yeah.
tap into it. And it's just
That's big.
like that's the impact that y'all having. It's like, yeah, the merch speaking for y'all when y'all not even in the room. And then people
Absolutely.
like me who support y'all and love what
Absolutely.
y'all are doing. It's
Yeah,
it's traveling. And so that
Absolutely.
impact that y'all making is huge. Like
praise
I
God,
it's
man.
huge. It's
So,
huge.
so that's what we want to be a part of.
Yeah.
That type of stuff, man. And see, when
Mm.
you blow up, we blow up.
Yeah, we all
Yeah,
blow. Yeah, we
yeah,
all blow. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh
Mhm.
man, John, you mentioned a word that is often associated, or I guess on the associated with vulnerability, and you said shame, right?
Mm.
Shame, I think, prevents a lot of people from being vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
because whatever it may be, we might think like you're the only one who's experienced X, Y, Z,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
like you said, like even the co-parenting issues, like you're not alone in that. But
Right.
when you start to hear people's stories, when you start to actually break down that shame, the vulnerability starts to increase. And you
Yeah.
start to rip off
True.
those guards and you are able to be more vulnerable.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Can you speak to a time in your life or a time in the present day where you've dropped some of that shame and what that shame was surrounding?
Mm.
Man, I this is the vulnerability muscle. So I need to be vulnerable in what I'm saying. I had to drop the shame and the embarrassment behind knowing that I did not support, for lack of better words, my child's mother during her pregnancy period with my son.
Mm,
We men and men do things, and I was one of the men that that stepped out the back door during, her time of being pregnant. And it's something that I can talk about now because I have dropped that shame and embarrassment. But during that time, when I really, really put the thought into it of like how low down that was, it hurts me now.
Mm-hmm.
It's all
Yeah,
right, dude. Yeah.
it hurts me now because I know, again, shout out to my child's mother, but I know I added to whatever trauma that she has not gotten through behind relationships and stuff like that. And I know a lot of what I've went through is my own karma, So once I was able to and it's still a struggle, Reggie, man. It's still a struggle because as I said earlier, I just want to be a daddy, bro. And it hurts me. But I once I was able to really, really drop that shame and embarrassment, man, I'm able to do what I'm doing now because it's another man that is probably gonna hear this
Yep.
that went through the exact same thing I went through and is going through the exact same thing. And above all else, that's the biggest hurdle is the shame and embarrassment. If I'm being honest,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you did what you did, but holding yourself accountable to how you brought variables in the situation that have made it what it is, and then how you gonna change it.
Mm-hmm.
How you gonna change it, how you gonna do better. So above all else, man, that's been that it's been hard. It's been hard, bro, because as black men, we get faced with so much, man. So much. And it's bad when we put the so much on us. You know what I mean? And I put that on myself. I put that on myself. I remember everything I did, how I did it, how it was done. And she has every right to feel hurt and be hurt. Every right, every single right. And again, that moment molded me to be who I am today. It really
Yeah.
did. It's molded me to be who I am today. As a black man, you have to, somebody said it on Instagram, you got to feel it to heal it. You gotta feel that shame. You gotta feel that embarrassment, and big dog, it hurt. It hurt.
Yes.
But
Yes.
once you feel it, you're able to heal it. And I'm
Yeah.
going through that healing process with
Good.
God, my family, my close friends, man. And above all else, I just want to be a daddy. So I know God is gonna work that out.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And I think to what I've heard from different people when I share some vulnerable parts about my story where I've hurt people and caused trauma in their lives, people who've experienced that same kind of hurt and that same kind of trauma get a sense of healing from hearing those words, even if they weren't from the perpetrator themselves.
Right.
And so another mother out there hearing that from you, hearing that it's possible that someone can feel remorseful about what they've done
Yeah.
is going to help. It's not going to completely heal, but it's going to help. And so I appreciate you for being vulnerable around that situation.
No doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. Pops, you got something for me?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, man. I was sitting here watching you two guys, man, and y'all ain't had to really deal with much of this like I had to. But growing up, man, I was born in the '60s. So growing up in the late '60s, early '70s, a lot of racial tension. I grew
Mhm.
up in a city, man, where the high school that I went to was a predominantly white high school, middle school. Now my middle school and other schools were like hood like, but when I crossed town to go to the high school, predominantly white. So my moment, man, my vulnerability moment, man, was when I finally took pride in being a black man.
Mm.
And that wasn't easy, man, in America.
Mm.
It wasn't
Mhm.
easy to take pride in being a black man. So that's the reason I left my hometown to come to Nashville to go to Tennessee State University because I wanted to be a part of a HBCU to learn more about my history. So I can
Yeah.
say that being at TSU helped me to not be more as vulnerable as I was growing up as a teenager because it was certain things that you were leery of doing because you was black. You're like, oh, I can't do that because I'm a black man. They
Mm.
don't let black folks do stuff like that. Black people don't excel in those areas. You know what I'm saying? That's what I grew up with. But when I
Right.
came to Tennessee State and I started reading and finding out all these things that black men had done, all the successes that black men had that they had hidden from me when I was growing up and coming through the high school level. They hid that stuff. They didn't teach that stuff in public school. I had to go to college, man, to find out Christopher Atticus. You know, the only one you talk about in a high school was Martin Luther King. That's the
Yep.
only one you hear about. You might,
Right.
depending on the high school, you might hear about Harriet Tubman. You
Right.
might hear about Frederick Douglass. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about TSU took it to a deeper level. You know what I'm saying? And then when I started finding out some things about certain people that we supposed to hold in high esteem, that was on that put their name on the Constitution, and then when I
Yeah.
found out they weren't all they were supposed to be, that's when I started feeling okay. We got more power than we think we got. That's when they try to hide it from us. So once I start understanding, man, that black is what James Brown said, I'm black and I'm proud. When I
Yes.
first started learning that stuff, when I started learning that, it empowered me, man, to move further and be successful to a point where, again, I was able to raise my family without having in reserve about being a black man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when that
Mm-hmm.
my vulnerable moment was when my vulnerability moment was when I came out of that and felt proud about just being who God made me. Because if
Wow.
God didn't want me to be a black man, He'd have made me some other man. But He
Right.
wanted me to be a black man, so I took pride in it, and that was my moment, man. And it propelled me to just do better in life than what I was doing.
Wow. I love that. I love that because I think just inherently being black in America and maybe even the world. I just my experiences in America, there is shame about our
Yes,
race, about who we are, about this
yes.
inferiority complex that we
Oh
carry.
my God, yes,
And
yes.
so like every day is shame, but like what you just shared, right? The pride that came from learning and understanding more about your history, about
Yes,
things to be proud of, and not just
yes,
the stereotypes or just the negative parts of history.
yes.
How empowering that must be. Wow. Dang.
Mhm.
How did that when you started to learn those things, were you putting those in the in Jonathan ear and Jojo ear?
Now, you know what? It's funny you say that because
Mhm.
that's the one regret that I do have is
Mm.
that I didn't share more of that with him. I shared some of it, but I was so, Reggie, I was so in the protective mode of wanting them to be protected from the outside interference. And so they don't want to admit it, but them dudes live some sheltered lives, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They was sheltered
I
for a
admit it.
long time,
I
man.
admit
Then
Yeah.
they finally started getting out in the world a little bit when they got to high school and everything. But we did that, man. And I kind of look back on that. I said, I wish I hadn't done as much of that, but I wish I had shown them more about what I was learning. But I was
Yeah.
kind of learning it as I was raising them, man. You know, so
Right.
it's kind of like I'm learning it and I want to say something about it, but I'm trying to get more of it. So,
Yeah.
but one thing I did do is I made sure again that I was so in tune with their spiritual walk also. So I wanted to make sure that I got that piece right. But the
Mhm.
other piece, man, I share some of it with them, but not as much as I wish I had. And I hope if you have children one day, or if Jonathan has, with his son, if he has more children, make that a part of their growing up, man. Is share with them how strong a people black people are, man.
Mm. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. I got a question about the women in the household because I think with all strong men, there's a strong woman right beside them. So can y'all speak to Mrs. Is it a Mrs. Davis? Can you speak to just the power that she has brought to your life and the and what all that has been like?
Yeah. Well, hey, I got to go first on that because she my wife before she his mama. But I'm gonna tell you something about that story, man. So, you know, when you come through come through the ranks like y'all came through high school, all that, you run around doing your thing, and what they say, sowing your wild oats or whatever. And
Y'all
so,
got some sayings, boy. I swear y'all do. Y'all got some sayings. Where you from, Leon?
I'm from Georgia, man, LaGrange, Georgia.
LaGrange, Georgia. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
about 30 minutes south of Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah, man. But
Okay.
when you sowing your wild oats, man, you out there just doing your thing, man. So when I was growing up, man, you know, got that heartbreak. We had that conversation a lot on the
Yeah.
show. Had that heartbreak, Reggie, and man, it felt like. Have you ever taking a gut shot and you wasn't ready for it.
Ooh, yeah.
That's what it felt like, man. So when that
Mm.
girl hurt my heart, man, I had made up in my mind from that point. I said, I'll never feel this again. I never let a woman touch me like that again, touch my heart. I went a long time like that, dude.
Yeah.
And then God, man, put this woman in front of me, man. And when I first engaged, first met her, man, I was like, nah, we just kicking it. She ain't the one. You know what I'm saying? We just, we doing our thing. We meet up, we do whatever, and then we going about our business. Lo and behold, man, time kept moving on, and it started dawning on me. She is the one. I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't want to let her in, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, man, I don't want to feel that hurt no more. But hey, man, did a lot of praying, did a lot of soul searching, did a lot of just looking at myself and what I wanted out of life. And man, she was the one, man. And the only regret that I have about us, with marrying my wife, is I wish I had done it sooner.
Wow.
I wish I had done it sooner. Yeah, we 28 years in, man, and I wish I'd have
Congrats.
been 38 years in.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because
congratulations.
when you got the right one, man, you know it. Now, let me say this. Has it all been peaches and cream? No. But guess what? We work together. And when you work together, when you find somebody that you can work together with, and y'all going for one common goal, like raising children, taking care of finances, all this thing, y'all doing this together, oh, it makes the journey a whole lot better, even when you go through the rough patches, man. And I'm gonna say this too, man. You know, a lot of times bros say they get mad at their wives or whatever, and they sleep in the couch and she sleep in the other room. Dog, I don't play that, man. I don't care how mad we get. I ain't never slept on the couch. And I ain't planning on it. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
ain't
yeah,
planning on sleeping on the couch. We can
yeah.
be mad, man, but we gonna get some kind of resolution
I
before
like
we
that.
go to bed. You
I
know what I'm
like
saying?
that. Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
doing that, man. So if I can share anything with a young brother, find some. Don't always see. You know, we do this a lot. Don't look at the outer features. Look for the inner features and check with them first. And if the inner features are what you're looking for, the outer will catch up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because the outer features change too. So
Yes,
you gotta
sir.
fall in
Yeah.
love with what's on the inside. Yeah.
Got to, man. Got
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Got
What
to.
what was some of the things that you just knew? Like it was like, dang, this is different than any woman. This is different.
You know what? The way she handled business, man. You know,
Mm.
a lot of time, when you're young, man, ain't taking care of your bills, ain't never got no money. You know what I'm saying? Don't know how to save money, don't know how to hold a job, stuff like that. Hey, man, she was doing all that. When I met her, she had her own crib, had her own house, had her own car, had a job. I'm like, wait a minute now. yeah. This what I'm looking for, independence. Because at the end of the day, you want a woman to depend on you. You want your family to depend on you. But if something go down, you want to be able to say, okay, she got my back. You know what I'm saying? So you want a woman that's gonna have your back just in case something happen to you. Right. Well, who gonna hold it down? Right. My wife has done that, man. She's held it down in times of in our lives where I had to be out of pocket for a minute. And she held it down, like working a lot of overtime. I had on my job, man, for 5 years, we was working 10-hour days. I'm talking about like 5 years straight,
Wow.
10-hour days, 12-hour days. She
Yeah.
held it down, man. She
Yeah.
held it down, man. Yeah. So
Definitely.
you want somebody got your back, man, and somebody know how to handle business, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Oh man. Jonathan, what about from son's perspective of moms?
I was sitting here thinking of a good answer, man. Like my dad said earlier, I definitely looked like my pops all the way through, but my mannerisms, my character, how I act, how I move is definitely my mama.
Yeah, he's a man, Valerie.
Yeah, no, for real. I'm Valerie. I'm Valerie on the inside and Leon on the outside. But in all honesty, and speaking with a vulnerable muscle, if you will, me and my mom's relationship was a little rocky going through teenage years and whatnot, man. And I think that is just naturally due to I'm a man and she's a woman, So a lot of our back and forth would be just from I feel like just that general thing alone. But when you talk about man,
What does that mean? Like I'm a man, she's a woman, and the riff that came with that.
so naturally they would say that a man is more logical and a woman is more emotion driven. So
Okay.
when you put both of those in the same pot, oftentimes you're gonna get some friction.
Mm-hmm.
And with me and my mom being alike, sometimes that ain't always good. You know, they say with a battery, you can't put a positive and positive together or a negative and a negative. And that's just oftentimes what it was. We both got mouth. We both can have a little attitude. We both can, you know, kind of, okay, well, you said this to hurt me. Well, let me go here. Okay, well, you went there. Let me go here. So we've had our battles with that. We've had our battles with that. But I think shout out to God and again time and being patient and understanding the more important things in life and just to highlight that, man, my mama, she, you know, everybody do said it on the podcast the other day. Everybody has a big mama in their family.
Yeah, yeah.
It would be my granny 1st, which is my mom's mom. And then right up under her is my mama. My mama, my cousins is calling her, trying to figure out what we doing for Christmas dinner. Like we know that if we meeting up, we coming to my mama's house for the Thanksgiving gatherings. My mama is the big mama of the family, you
Yes.
know, and she has that matriarch. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Matriarch.
She has that matriarch
Mhm.
label because she loves so hard, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Yeah.
something that I have as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
To the point
She
where
love hard.
you
Yeah.
know you love somebody so hard that you really are willing to do anything. And my mom, I've seen her stretch her neck out for people that she should and probably she shouldn't have, but she still finds a way to open her heart to any and everybody, man. And that's the beautiful thing that I can say about her. She never looks down on nobody, man, in terms of loving that person, whoever they may be. And she exudes unconditional love. I don't know who I can probably compare her to, man, that I can say that about. You know, my mama does love unconditionally. She
love
really,
hard.
really do.
Yeah.
She really does, man. And you know, just it's been a joy watching her and my dad interact, man, ever since, you know, I've been born, obviously. Because I told them, in my opinion, they don't present it, but I said it in one of our podcasts. It's an underlying pressure that you feel, especially as a firstborn son, trying to chase, for lack of better words, that 28-year bond. Like naturally, I'm a single man, and I crave and in the right time, and God will present that. But man, you talking about 28 years, and I know they ain't saying this, but they like, all right, what you gonna do? And in the back of my head, I'm like, what am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Because they have set the bar so high for this, you know, the aura of black love, man. And like I said, I just cherish it, you know, just cherish the moments that I'm having with mom and pops, man. We all getting older, and we all know that we here for a good time and not a long time. So with that being said, man, I love moms for sure. She's helped me through situations good and bad, and above all else, man, she is the most hardest loving woman I know.
God, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. And like I think I just wanted to hear that because like give her flowers while she's still here, right?
Right,
And
right.
Mhm.
one thing I want to push back on though is the logical versus emotional part
Mhm.
of women versus men, because I think that's what's kept us from being vulnerable so long, is what we were
Mhm.
told we couldn't be
Agreed.
Exactly.
emotional.
I
And
agree.
it's like to
Mhm.
to tell a man he can't be emotional is tell a man he can't be a human. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
so I
True.
think like it made sense that y'all, you carry some of the traits that she has, because we have feminine and masculine energy in us all,
Absolutely.
Yes.
and it's divine in all of us. And so
That's true.
yeah, but now I want, because you said something, Jonathan, I want to hear, just like, and I kind of want y'all to speak to each other right here,
Mhm.
but for you to just speak to Pops and give him his flowers, because we don't know what tomorrow brings, and to just like a moment between father and son, just like what would you say about him and his impact on your life?
Wow, man. To know how my fatherhood journey has been thus far, and also to know how I've been a son in your fatherhood journey. I do appreciate you.
Mhm.
I really, really do. I have not been the easiest to raise. I have not been the easiest to deal with. But one thing I can say is you never left. You never left. It's been men that not necessarily with the mother, but just can't even deal with their own child, and they just
Mhm.
we just had a podcast with a good friend of ours yesterday
Mm.
who said, you know, when I get around this type of aura, I have to watch the envious
Mm.
undertone that may come with how I speak.
Mm.
And it's a blessing, man, to have you. If I'm being honest, I have been around the house long enough and been grown, if you will, long enough to see that we ain't where we once were as a family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Financially, I know there have been some changes, but you still here. It's just it amazes me. It's tears that you probably done cried that I ain't seen,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
you still here.
Yeah.
You know, it's things that again me and JoJo have done that I know have challenged you and Mama mentally, and you still here. Health challenges have came from all four of us, and you still here. So I just really thank you, man, for still being here. I mean that. I thank you for still being here. You could have left. I have given you more reasons to leave, but one thing about being a father is presence. And from my basketball games, my bowling tournaments, my football games, baseball, the accolades in college and high school, every graduation, every ceremony. I don't care if I got an award, man, for whatever, man. You still here, and I appreciate that.
Hey, you welcome.
I
You welcome,
appreciate
bro.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Wow.
welcome, man.
Wow. Wow. I want that to breathe a little bit because damn, that was beautiful. And that's something like I think like y'all tapped into it with the podcast that y'all have of like these things can live forever. And
Right.
to be able to express those type of words to somebody who's who's made a great impact in your life, I think goes a long way. And going back to what I said earlier, there's somebody out there listening that they may be envious, but they may need to hear those words as well from a son that they might not speak to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I it was beautiful hearing that. I got chills over here. Like I got chills over here for
Well,
real.
thank you for giving me that opportunity,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
I
Well,
appreciate
I can't leave Pops out there. Then you get the opportunity to come right back with it.
Yeah. Well, you know, one thing he said for sure, they've been a challenge. but, but but at the
it.
end of the day, man, it's like I said earlier, man. You were given to me by God, man, and I honor God for giving me you and your brother, man, because God said that every child is a blessing from God. So you're a blessing, dude. I know, you know, I love you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
without
yeah,
beyond words, man. You
yeah.
already know that. But
Mhm.
what I do want to say is, man, just know this, dude. I know you've fallen short in some areas, but just do like my mama said, man. Don't stop
Don't
trying.
stop trying.
Don't stop trying, man. What she used to say, she said, you can make it
Make it
if
if
you
you
try.
try. Yeah.
So you can make it, man. And that's my only thing. Yeah, I've been frustrated with you and your brother, whatever. But at the end of the day, like you said, I'm still gonna be here, man. I'm still gonna support you, man. I'm still gonna be here regardless. You already know that.
Yeah.
So just know that, man. As long as I'm breathing, I'm gonna be here, bro. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I love you, man, and I just want you to be the best you that you can be. And you had some challenges, but guess what? You gonna be okay, man. You gonna be okay. You just hang in there and keep doing what you're doing, and keep looking at the roadmap. And the roadmap is not only me, but look at your granddaddy. Look at the granddaddy that you didn't know that I talk about all the time. Yeah, look at that, man, and you're gonna be a great man. You just gotta hang in there, dog. Don't give up on what you're doing. Hang in there, man, and know, man, that not only do I love you, your mama loves you, man. You got a great support system. You just got to make better choices. And like my mama said all the time, she said he gonna be okay. You just got to get some fun out of him. So y'all be a little bit all that. Most of the fun ought to be gone. Not
Yeah.
all the fun, but most of it ought to be gone. Man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But hey, man, I love you, dude. You know
Yeah.
that, man. Yeah, you know that, man. I love you, man. Yeah.
Damn.
Reggie, I don't like you, man. Shoot, man.
Hey, that's the vulnerability muscle effect, I guess. Dang. That oh man, y'all gonna have me crying for the rest of this week.
Yeah. I don't like
Like,
you, man.
Mhm.
wow.
Gladly.
Wow, wow, wow. I want to ask just about some of the resources outside of the podcast that people can tap into with Black Men Vent too? Are there other things coming? I know you talked about the financial partnership. Are there
Yeah,
other
Yeah,
things y'all
yeah.
got in
I'm gonna
mind?
yeah.
let you tap in
Hey
on that.
man,
Yeah,
well, I'm gonna let you do the brand ambassador and all that stuff.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But hey Reggie, our people, black people, have to start learning how to invest their monies.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, most jobs don't offer pension plans. Most jobs don't even offer health care. Well, the financial services that we're going to be providing is going to be how to show black men and black women, whoever want to come. But my focal point is younger black men because my thing is I want to help younger black men, 21, 22 years old, start learning strategies where you can save your money. So by the time you get 28, 29, 30, you're ready to start a family, you ready to have kids.
Right.
Money won't be your issue because what stops us from doing that a lot of time is money.
Bread.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But if you start saving your money while you're young, while you running around, just throw a few of them dollars back and put them in the right place, they can grow, man, with compound interest. And when they grow with this compound interest, then by the time you get a point in life where you need 30, 40, $50,000, you got it. You don't have to borrow it from nobody. You ain't got to try to ante it up. You ain't got to try to go fund me. You ain't got to do none of that. You got your own money, man. So that's what we're trying to do, man, is we're trying to create an atmosphere and create a place where people can come and get advice from us. And also we got the vehicles for you to put your money in.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to offer to our people, man, and to our black community, man, because at the end of the day, wealth is power. It's all
Mm-hmm.
about how you use it, though. But when you
Absolutely.
got wealth, man, you got power. They talk about credit. If I got cash money, what I need credit for? You know what I'm saying? So that's what we trying to show people, how to get some money in your pocket. Now, granted, credit is good, and you do want credit, but I'm talking about, but that shouldn't be the main focal point. Your main focal point, it should be having something that you put away for your future. And if and not only your future, but even somebody like my son that's got a young child, hey man, he can start putting money away right now for his child. So when his child gets 18, 19 years old, guess what? He don't have to worry about buying books. He don't have to worry about getting that off-campus apartment. He don't have to worry about getting his first ride. Why not? Because my daddy was smart, and my daddy saved money for me when I was a young buck. And now my daddy showed me that this is my account. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
we got to start that somewhere. So that's what we want to be a part of, starting something like that for our community, man.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We 2024 is gonna look real good, Reggie, man. My dad, as he mentioned, with the financial industry, we have partnered with Fit Financial Group to educate black men and just our culture on saving money. So
Yeah,
that is
man.
one. I look at us like a tree, Reggie, and one of our branches is the financial thing that we're doing. Another branch is the merchandise. Definitely going to have more merch coming soon because,
Yes.
as you said, we not no clothing brand, but what we wanted to do, as you alluded
Just
to,
what happened.
just what you said, is to
Mm-hmm.
be walking billboards
Mm-hmm.
in the city, and you
Yep.
literally were a walking billboard in that
Yep.
gym, and
Yep.
somebody seen you, and we gained another follower. So I
Yep.
thank you for that, man.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that's one of the branches that we have. Another branch that we just introduced is our brand ambassadors.
Yeah, I love
I
that,
was
man.
super excited
I
for that,
love it.
man.
I
We
love it.
have 10 brand ambassadors, 5 women and 5 men, because as always, I try to keep it even on both sides. I handpicked them. My dad, he confirmed he did it, but I handpicked them, man, because each one of them, they have had unique ways of supporting our movement.
Mm-hmm.
Whether if I needed them to share a post, comment on something, they bought merch without me asking. They showed up to every vending event we did. Whatever it was, they did that. All 10
Mm-hmm.
of them in their own unique ways. So we got those guys and those women, man, and going into the new year, we're gonna plan our first major event. It'll be similar to how shout out to Nashville Black Market, how they do things where they get a lot of different vendors
Mm-hmm.
in and they have a whole big bang every first Friday of the month. We're gauging towards May because
Okay.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month,
Yep.
and look forward in the future for us to do something in May annually. Every time
Mm-hmm.
May comes around, we're going to do an event. But with our brand ambassadors, they're going to be the ushers, if you will, at the event. So if you need help
Okay.
knowing what to do, knowing how to kind of maneuver around the event. I don't want to speak too much on it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they'll be in help of that. So we got, man, events planned, brand ambassadors, website
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
soon for
Looking
sure,
forward to
man.
that. Yeah.
That'll just host, our episodes, man. It'll host the brand ambassadors. The cool thing that we're doing, I will say this, with our brand ambassadors. Let's say one of them has a business venture of their own, right? If you go to our website when it comes, you'll be able to click the brand ambassador tab, and Leandre, that's one of my brand ambassadors. He's one of my family members. You can click his tab. It'll have his name. And once you click his name, it'll have on the front of the posting or whatever his how he feels about Black Men Vent too. How he feels about being a brand ambassador, how he is excited to be a part of us, so forth and so on. Then it'll be another portion on that same page where you can flip it, and it'll have, hey, I'm Leandre and I do mechanical work on the side. I can change your brakes. I can change your oil. Boom, boom,
I
boom.
like
So if
that.
you guys need any assistance, here's my Instagram, here's my LinkedIn, here's my
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. I'm gonna make sure that all 10 of our guys and our women, as we go up, they go up.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
go up.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
every time
Yes.
they click on that website, if you need a photographer, we got
Oh
one.
man.
If you
Yeah.
need a mechanic, we got one.
Yeah.
If you need somebody to help you with weightlifting, my little brother, he is a brand
Yeah.
ambassador.
Oh yeah.
We got one.
Oh
Yeah.
We
yeah.
got one for a trainer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of the guys and girls, they are instrumental in their own way, and we want to help bring that out of them by way of naturally continuing our movement with Black Men Vent too. So got a lot planned, man. Of course, new guests, new episodes.
Yeah, man. Yes,
Man's
sir.
excited to bring a new slate of guests going into the new year. Man, just continuing to be better, Reggie, man. It's been a blessing. It's
It
been
has.
fun
It
to
has.
do this podcast, man. We have grown over 2 years. We've grown extensively from the last time we did
Yeah,
when we did
man.
your show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just continuing to grow, man. Continuing to grow, stamping ourselves in the city,
Bridging
and
gaps too.
yes, and bridging gaps, man. That's another thing that we're trying to do going into the new year. I say this and I end, but we had a cool partnership where we met this guy who is the coordinator over at Walk Bike Nashville. Walk Bike
Okay.
Nashville is one of the nonprofits that focuses on making streets and sidewalks safer, for us to be able to kind of walk along. Make a long story short, Meshach Adams,
Yeah.
good friend of mine, he was on the podcast. He asked us if we knew an artist, a muralist that would paint a crosswalk right in front of the Dickerson Road, for our Nashville audience, the Dickerson Road post office. The Dickerson Road post
Okay.
office. You go to the
Yep.
Dickerson Road post office, it's a paint right there. And the goal was to have a crosswalk so that the kids could go to Rocket Ship Elementary, which is right across the
Yes.
street. So
Mm-hmm.
boom. He asked us that, and we immediately thought of the exact same name, the exact same dude, Charles Key. Charles
Okay.
Key. If you don't know who Charles Key is, man, Google him.
Yeah.
He has a lot of murals up through the Lafayette Street, South Nashville area. Google him, man. He's a bad dude. But what we do with our nonprofit, with our podcast, is bridge gaps. Reggie,
Yes.
do you know, man, that we got Meshach and Charles connected? And as a gift to us, when Charles painted the crosswalk, he hashtag BMVT on the
Yes.
painting.
Yeah.
So that way
Yes.
it was just so we right on Dickinson Road, man. So
Yes.
we got so much
Yeah.
planned,
Y'all are
man.
part of the
2024
city.
gonna be big, man.
Yes.
It's small pieces, man. But as
Yeah.
I said earlier, we're a
Yeah.
small piece of leather, but we well put together, dog. We got a
I
lot of
love
stuff
it.
planned,
I
and we
love it. I
excited.
love it. I want to run through some rapid response questions that I have and then as we wrap this up, but like that I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
man.
What comes to mind when you hear the word vulnerability?
Being open, man.
Mm.
Being open. And that's something you said
Yeah.
earlier, when you're talking about the logical side and emotional side, and you're right, when women have an logical side, it might not be as strong as the male, and males have an emotional side, it might not be as strong as the female. But we do have that side. But the problem is we don't want to open it up. So when I think about vulnerability, I think about opening something,
Yeah.
opening something up, man.
Right behind that, I would say, as Black men, we're always armed. We're always tense. And I would say, being vulnerable, you have to disarm yourself. You
Mm.
got to put put the guns down, if you will. You got to disarm yourself, be in the moment, breathe, and really just allow things to flow however they need to be.
I love that. If you could have a conversation with anyone, living or dead, who would it be?
Ooh,
Wow.
living would be Obama. I love to talk to Obama, man. I'm talking about, and even not, I'm talking like off mic conversation. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. Get the nitty
Get some
gritty.
real stuff
Yeah,
in. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah, I like to talk to Obama. And dead, I like to talk to Malcolm X, man.
Yes,
Malcolm X, Medgar
yes.
Evers, man. One of them cats, man. I
Mm,
really love to have a conversation with them, man.
mm-hmm.
Living, I would say, man, Deion Sanders, dude, has inspired me.
Yeah,
Prime.
yeah,
Yes.
Deion Sanders, I know they season did not be what everybody thought the hype was going to be the first 2-3 games, but I'm talking about this man's life, how
Yeah.
he carries himself, his
Yes.
morals, his ethics, his
yeah.
values, how he's
Yes.
just been great all his life almost, and I know
Mm-hmm.
he's had trying times just like any black man, but I would love to sit in front of that man and have a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And dead, I gotta say it, man, because don't nobody give my boy respect no more, dude. And it bothers me. Kobe Bryant,
Oh no, no, no.
man,
We done had like 4 or 5 people say Kobe. Big
dude,
Mamba. Mamba, yeah, yeah.
man, we ain't got enough time, but they ain't giving my boy respect. They just act like they don't know what happened when he was here and how he governed himself on and off the court, man. So I would definitely love to have a conversation, man, with Kobe Bean Bryant. That's my dog, man.
Rest in peace, Kobe.
Yeah,
Yes.
Man.
yeah.
This is one that people have to think on sometimes. What is one of your favorite childhood memories?
You know, one of my favorite childhood memories, man, was when it's strange, man.
Wow.
But being with my family, man, and doing family gatherings. Just all the family come together and everybody just having a good time, just eating and just doing their thing. But growing up, I look forward to that, man. I knew during Christmas time and Thanksgiving we was gonna have a lot of folks at the house. And man, I look forward to that, man, because it was always family. And it's sad to say, but them were the only times I really got a chance to mingle and dingle with them. You know what I'm saying? So when they came to the crib, man, those were some of the most memorable times I had, man, is being around family, doing special occasions, man, and we just loving on each other, man. That was some cool stuff.
You got a family member you miss?
Oh my God, I miss my daddy so much, man. My dad and my mom, man. Hey, man, you talk about whatever I am right now, they made it.
Mm.
They made it, man, and they did they were some strong, starch Christian people, but they weren't so starch that you couldn't get to their vulnerable side because they
Mhm.
had it and they would share it, man, and at the end of the day, I miss them dearly, man, and hey, man, those are the people that molded me, man, and I'm still living on some of their not some of their prayers. People say I'm still living on mom and dad's prayer. No, I'm living on their wisdom, the stuff that they shared with me while they were living, man, the things that they talked to me about while they were living. Those are the things that are pushing me through life, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
One of my favorite childhood memories, man. We often laugh about this, but I played all major sports growing up, man. Basketball, football, baseball. It was like clockwork. Did it for about 6-7 years straight, interchangeably. But one particular moment I just would never forget. I tell my son this story. We was on the football field, man. We were playing. I want to say he laughing because he know what I'm finna say. I want to say it was the Old Hickory Bulldogs. I believe. I can't remember.
It was a rival game.
It was a
like that.
rival
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
man, what, 9, 10,
Probably
11? Somewhere
probably
around
about 10,
10,
9 or
11.
10. Yeah.
Wide receiver was my position. I typically played wide receiver, DB, kick return, or punt return. That was kind of what my edge was. Making a long story short, man, drew up the play naturally. And my coach, we had him on the podcast as well. He's a white dude.
Mm-hmm,
We had him on the podcast as well. If you were to talk to him, you wouldn't know he's
you
white.
never know it. Yeah.
You wouldn't
never know
he's
it.
white.
Yeah.
But anywho, he would always mess with me because naturally I'm always not having my head in the game. So I'm looking at the cheerleaders. I'm not looking at nothing else but the cheerleaders. And he used to always tell me, Junebug, get your damn head in the game. What you doing?
What
Looking
are
at the
you
cheerleaders.
doing?
Get your head in the game. So boom, this moment, Reggie, I had my head in the game at this moment. drew up the play, man. Man, I line up, you know what I'm saying, get in my stance or whatever. I know that the ball is coming to me. We talking a 40-yard streak route, straight down, if you will. I had my man beat. Man, all I know is my boy Johnathan. Man, I miss my dog.
Yeah.
Johnathan, he threw that ball every bit of 40, 50 yards. We talking 10, 11, 12 years old, man. And man, I caught that ball, dude, and ran it in. And you want to know who was on the sideline running right in stride with me? Dude right beside me.
Nice.
He was running on the
Nice.
sideline, and I'm running towards the end zone. And we both, man, just excited, man.
Yeah.
I scored, and my mama had to tell me that that's what he did because I didn't notice it because I'm in the game.
Yeah,
like,
you
in the game. But my
locked
mom was
in.
like, "Boy, you just don't know. When you caught that ball and you ran, your daddy was stride with you on the sideline." And I was like, "Man, dude, that's a moment, man. We laugh about all the time. We laugh about all the time.
Yes.
I can't wait for my son to get some type of jersey, dude, because I'm gonna be the
Yes.
exact same way, man.
Oh yeah, I already know. I already can tell. I
Yeah, I
already can
can't wait,
tell.
dude.
Oh man, that's good. I love both of those. I love
Yeah,
both of
man.
those. All right, what is a book or movie that everybody should read or watch? You can pick either one.
Man, oh, what's this movie I just saw? Oh man, it's an Angel production movie, man. Man, oh, I can't think of the name of this movie, man, but it's definitely a good look, man. It's about. I'm telling you what the gist of the movie is about. The gist of the movie is about Angel Production. They produce a lot of Christian like based stuff, but it ain't Christian based. It's just a movie that's speaking to a problem. And
Okay.
what it speaks on is this guy, man. He this girl gets kidnapped or whatever, but she's not really kidnapped. She's trafficked, sex trafficking, and so he went to like some remote country, man, where they was taking these girls, where they taking these little children, and our government will not even go to these spots because they're so remote and they don't want to take a chance on going to these spots and getting caught up because they liable to lose a lot of people. So they couldn't even, I'm talking about our country would not go there. But this guy, this is based on true story. This guy went there and rescued them children, man, and brought light to what they was doing and what they was taking them kids. But man, all the stuff that he went through just to
Wow.
go over there and get that girl, man. And you was like, wow, why did he do that, man? And he just felt it. He just felt the urge that he had. It was like a calling, man.
Yeah.
And he went over there and he got the girl and exposed the situation. But what I can't think of the name of the movie.
Sound of Freedom.
Woo, bam, there you go. That's it. That's it.
I'm
Hey,
good
man,
at Google.
that's a good movie, man. And I'm talking about it brings to light something that our country just kind of throws on the back burner, but it's happening as we speak right now. Some child is being sex trafficked, and they don't tell them what the child gonna end up at, man.
Yeah.
And only God knows what they do to them children, man. And our country just does not. It don't put enough weight on that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and see when you see stuff like that, it makes you try to figure out, well, who's really behind this? If we're not putting enough pressure on it, then why are we not putting pressure on this situation? And they would show right before the film came on, you know, they were showing little excerpts of children getting kidnapped. I'm talking about children just in their front yard riding tricycles and stuff, and somebody just come along and snatch them up, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, how come we not addressing that, man? You know what I'm saying? So that's a good movie to see right there, man. That's a good one.
Okay. I'd probably go with man, A Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
Will Smith, man, and his son, dude. That movie is a tearjerker, man.
Yes.
It's one of those I could watch over and over again because I think it truly teaches you the journey of fatherhood, the value of fatherhood, how you can lose it all, you know, to where you and your son both looking at each other, man, like what we finna do. You know what I'm saying? And Will Smith showed his pursuit to where it was just a beautiful thing, man. When you think about the struggles that a father can go through, you know, and we've kind of talked about that a little bit, man. Will Smith just did a great job in how he made that image, you know, to be for any father or father to be, man, to understand that you can go through something, but you can get through what you're going through as long as you keep that mindset, man, of pushing forward and pressing on. So a pursuit of
Yes.
happiness,
Yes.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yes. Yes. It's a
And
classic.
yeah, and a good book. I know a lot of people don't like, again, spiritual stuff. But I read this book, man. This last book I read was a book called "Don't Give the Devil a Seat at Your Table" by Louis
Okay.
Giglio. And I'm gonna tell
Okay.
you something. If you ever want to get a book about spiritual insight about how to not allow the devil, and where he used Psalms 23, and he talked about and my enemy. He said he'll make a, let's see, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pasture. He leadeth me beside still water. He restores my soul. He maketh the paths of righteousness. And he's talking about the part when it gets to about how you sitting at the table. Where he said, you'll be sitting at the table, getting and sitting with the Lord at His table. And what he talked about in the book, the strong point for me was this: is that when you allow the enemy a seat at your table, you're allowing somebody that's unwanted. And when
Mm.
you allow people that are
Mhm.
unwanted, then that's when they start having influence and they start motivating you to do things that's out of your character. And as a Christian, a lot of times we allow the enemy to have a seat at our table, and we wonder why we move the way we move because
Mm.
we have allowed a person, somebody, to sit at our table that was not invited, and we
Mm.
just act like it's cool. No, it's not cool. When he sit at your table, he got to go, and you the one that can make him go. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So
Mm.
that was a strong book for me, man. It showed me something about myself because a lot of time I wonder why I struggle with some of the things I struggle with is because I've allowed the enemy to have a seat at my table. And I'm talking about the enemy as far as like negative stuff, like
Yeah.
negative overtones and negative stuff that comes into our life. We're allowed to just sit at our table and we just cool with it. Now don't be cool with it, man. Push
Yep.
that stuff out the table. Get them
Yep.
off your no, you can't sit right here, dude. Yeah,
Mm.
depression. No, you can't
Mhm.
sit right here.
Right.
Mhm.
Anxiety. No, you can't sit here. You
Right.
know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? All that negative, you cannot sit here. But when I allow that stuff to sit at my table, then that's when I become influenced by who's at my table.
Mm. 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 That's powerful. That's powerful. I got one last question. What is one thing you do to relax when you're feeling stressed?
I Me personally, I go bowl. And
Yeah,
I'm
that's
I'm
fun.
glad I've gotten back into it. I took a 5 month hiatus, if you will. But God, man, has blessed me to allow bowling to carry me a long way through life, man. Shout out to my granddaddy, Amos Herford. He was the
Mm,
one that put a ball in my hand at 7 years old, and he took the bumpers down at 8 years old. So I was
Wow.
bowling with no bumpers and was mad every time I threw the
Yeah.
ball in the gutter. But that transitioned into a $8,000 scholarship at a PWI, a very well known
mm,
PWI for bowling. What have
Wow.
you ever heard of a scholarship for bowling, man? I was able to get a partial scholarship, travel up, man, and I've been
mm.
to New York and bowled. I've been to Pennsylvania. I've been to Georgia. I've been to Kentucky. Just been all over the world, all over the states, if you will, doing what I love to do, man. It's something that relieves stress and relaxes me. It's something about
Wow.
throwing that ball as hard as I can at
Mhm.
them pins, man, and just watching them go everywhere. So when I
It's
feel
something
that I have a little,
metaphorical about
yeah,
that.
seriously. So when I get a little tensed up, man, I bowling for sure. Bowling for sure is something that relaxes me. Something that I can have the headphones in, man, listen to
Mm.
a good podcast, listen to some good music, and it's just me and them pins. It's just
Yeah.
me and them pins.
Bet, bet. You got some pops?
Yeah, man. I'm just sitting thinking. A lot of times when I just want to, get away from it all, I just meditate, man. I just find me a quiet
Mhm.
spot, man, and I meditate. Just sit back and reflect on life and reflect on, some of the things I want to do. But I have to find me a quiet space. That's one thing I appreciate my wife about, man. She know when I'm in that space, man, and she don't bother me, man. She'll go in a room and do her thing, and I come in this little room where we at right now, and I have my little quiet moments, man. And then I'm good. Might take about 15, 20 minutes, but once I get that, I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I think every person has to do that at some point in time, is
Mhm.
get alone with yourself every now and then, man, and
Yeah.
just figure out, who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Man, where can people find y'all? What social media platforms? I know the website you said that's dropping soon. Where can people find y'all?
Man, as far as the listening is concerned, any platform, man, I tell people now we've done so much and been blessed to have done so much. Just Google us.
Yeah,
Just
just
Google Black
Google.
Men Vent too. But
Mhm.
Yes.
seriously, because everything that we have done pops up on Google, man. But
Good.
Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Deezer, shoot, man, iHeartRadio, YouTube. We're on YouTube. So any of the listening platforms, man, you can find us there. As far as social media is concerned, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm learning. So TikTok, we're getting that together, man. But Instagram and
Mhm.
Facebook is strong, man.
Okay.
IG is Black Men Vent, the number two. And
Okay.
then Facebook is, as it's stated, Black Men Vent, TOO.
Okay, cool. There it is. Uh, Jonathan Leon, with all the things you could be doing, all the places you could be, I appreciate you being here with me, embracing vulnerability. Thank y'all.
Man, we appreciate you having us, my brother.
Abs-
Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Absolutely. Likewise, y'all do the same. Thank you for joining us for another powerful episode of Vulnerability Muscle. I hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that resonate with you. If you're enjoying this journey of self discovery and empowerment, there are a few ways you can support the podcast. First, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. If you've been moved by our conversations and the mission of redefining vulnerability, please consider leaving a review. Your feedback not only motivates us, but also helps others discover the podcast. Share your thoughts on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you tune in. And don't forget to spread the word. Follow us on Instagram at Vulnerability Muscle for updates, and you can connect with me personally at Reggie D. Ford on all platforms. Visit vulnerabilitymuscle.com for additional resources and upcoming episodes. And remember, embracing vulnerability is strength. Thanks for being a part of the journey. Until next time, stay empowered, stay vulnerable, and keep flexing that vulnerability muscle.